Hello, this is Darcie the Dog Trainer, owner and head trainer of CommuniCanine Training and Behavioral Counseling, where it is my passion and purpose to connect dogs and people. And today I'm going to share with you the second exercise of how to get your dog to listen better to you without actually doing any work with your dog. So if you tuned in last week, you heard the story that I told about a client that I'm working with who every time she talked to her dog, every time she gave him a command, she spoke to him using a tone of voice and her body language in a way that reflected that she never expected him to listen. And so as a result, he didn't listen. And this is not an uncommon theme. This is something that I do see a lot with clients, particularly with women. Although this client isn't a mom, I see it a lot with moms too. And a lot of us feel like we aren't heard or like we aren't going to be heard. So I have another exercise for you to do today that's really simple, doesn't take a lot of time, but is incredibly powerful and life-changing. So it's as simple as this. You can either journal, so if you're a writer, you can write down what comes up for you in this exercise. If you're visual like me, you can just imagine it, or you can even talk it out loud if you'd like to, if you're in a quiet room and you can be uninterrupted. So anytime you think about giving your dog a command and get the sense or idea or feeling in your body that he or she isn't going to listen, I want you to put your hand on where in your body you can feel that. So if it's your chest that you feel it, put your hand on your chest. If it's your stomach, put your hand there, wherever it is. Now, I want you to take a few deep breaths into that space and just notice what you feel. So you're just breathing into that space, noticing what you feel. Now I want you to ask it a question. What can I do for you? Or what is it that you'd like to say? What do you need from me right now? So the interesting thing is the beliefs we hold about ourselves are reflected back to us from people and animals outside of ourselves. And if we hold a belief that we aren't listened to, or we're not going to be listened to, of course, that's what's reflected back to us. But in order to be heard, we ourselves have to learn to listen, not only to each other, but also to ourselves. So this is an opportunity when you put your hand on your chest or where on your body and breathe into that space and get still for a moment and ask the question, what can I do for you right now? Listen for the answer. Sometimes the answer is as simple as, I'm feeling sad, or I need a hug, or I feel so frustrated right now because every time I speak, nobody listens. It could be simple, it could be a complex answer, it doesn't matter. All you need to do is listen. And then check in and see if there's something that you can do for yourself in relation to the answer or the information that comes up for you. Sometimes, if we let's say we feel sad, just check into where the sadness is. I'll often talk to that inner voice inside of me as though it's a friend of mine, a good friend. What if my friend just told me that they were sad? I wouldn't disregard it, and I certainly wouldn't say, well, don't be sad. I would just say, how come you're sad? What's going on? And listen. Well, I feel sad because. And the answer might surprise you, because the answer probably, and I would almost guarantee it, has nothing to do with your dog. It has to do with some other idea that you hold about yourself, some other experience from your past that you're likely still holding on to that's being reflected in your relationship with your dog. So let's just recap that exercise. So you're going to notice when you communicate to your dog, when you think about communicating with your dog, giving them a command, and you have the idea that they're not going to listen, I want you to notice where in your body you feel it, if anywhere. You may not feel it anywhere. If you feel it somewhere in your body, I want you to put your hand there and breathe into that space for a couple of breaths. Once you've done that, then you're going to check in and ask yourself, is there anything I need right now? What do I need right now? Sometimes I will talk to myself as though it's another person. What do you need right now? What does this voice need right now? What does this feeling need right now? But you can simply say, what do I need right now? And it's an opportunity for you to acknowledge and provide for yourself something that you're wanting or lacking right now. And it can be something as simple as hearing your own words. I feel sad, or I feel frustrated. And when we acknowledge our own feelings, we have more closure on them. We can actually move through them, but it doesn't have to come from outside of us. We don't need to get that validation from outside of us. So it's a really cool exercise that I'm going to leave you with. And I'd love for you to give it a try. You can use it in any area of your life. I've used it for a lot of things, including areas where when I felt incredibly worried about criticism that was going to come in a situation completely unrelated to my dogs, I sat with this voice and did this exercise, and it was incredibly powerful. And at the end of it, usually, in my own experience of doing it with myself or with other clients of mine, they generally feel more at peace or at ease. They feel more relaxed, like the knots or tension in their body have let go. So play around with this one, and I'd love to hear your feedback on it. And have a wonderful week.